Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
This is Ryan Fulford. A.D. Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
I'm returning to Clinton Parish, and Tampa's my community. I grew up here, went to school here, and my wife and I make our home here. What makes Tampa special are its people. So when I represent someone injured in my community, it's personal. Call my office and speak to a real lawyer and not some referral service. I will fight the insurance companies to get the settlement that you deserve. At the law office of Clinton Parish, we take the pain out of being hurt.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties through its programs Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and Parenting Education Coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentJAX.
Let's face it, shopping for insurance can be time-consuming. That's why when it comes to your auto, home, and life insurance needs, make things simple and trust the experts at Allstate. They will help you get the coverage that fits your needs while helping you bundle your life, home, and auto policies. Bundling saves you money, sure, but it also saves you time, so you can enjoy the things that matter most even more. Contact me, Tammy Haynes, your local agent, for a free personalized insurance quote. Allstate, are you in good hands?
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com.
This week on Random Thoughts with DVP, I will be joined by Katrina T. Marie Curtis.
I love Atlanta, a city in the forest. Hi, I'm Jeff Cleveland, seasoned loan officer in the Atlanta market. And whether you're buying a new home, refinancing to do debt consolidation, home improvements, or just to lower your payments, give me a call. I'll ensure that you're treated with dignity and respect, that you're informed throughout the process, and that there are no surprises at closing. Give me a call and let's get started.
We're back. It's time for the 2024 Urban NerdCon. Join us in Atlanta, Georgia, April 26th through the 28th at the Cortland Grand Hotel. Special guests include Underworld creator Kevin Grievous, Gary Gray from Fairly Odd Parents, from Nickelodeon, Giovanni Samuels, The Science Machine, Michael Green, the Sci-Fi Sisters, and from Spaceballs and Star Trek Voyager, Tim Russ.
Hi, I'm Tim Russ. Join me April 26th through the 28th at the Cortland Grand Hotel in Atlanta, Georgia for the Urban NerdCon. Our heroes, our villains, our stories, everyone con. I'll see you there. Live long and prosper.
Visit theurbannerdcon.net to get your buy one, get one free badges before the price increases. Remember, our heroes, our villains, our stories, everyone's con. See you there.
If you think all pads are exactly the same, think again. This is Always Ultra Thins reinvented with the Always Triple Protection System. This pad wicks gushes 90% faster, absorbs even more so you can feel dry, and locks odors in. Rethink your pad for up to 100% leak-free and odor-free comfort with the totally reinvented Always Ultra Thins. This is always like never before.
What's up? Man, caught me slipping there. All right, it's the 27th, 2023. It's the end of the year. I'm sorry. Yeah, December 27th, last show of the year. Hey, man. 2023. What? Shit, it's going out like a bang. First of all, let me apologize. But let me just give y'all a quick status update. For those of y'all that don't know, y'all know I tried like being idle. And Joe, I don't need for you to say shit. As a matter of fact, Roy, just mute Joe so I don't have to cuss him out first. I got a new job, right? So like now I'm a legalized body snatcher. And you know, we had a little few difficulties. So I had to take care of the little body snatching thing. I'm a deputy coroner now. And you know, this is funny to me because whenever I hear people saying that they can't find a job, ain't no jobs out there. And here I got like 12. So how do you not find a job? And you know, I get what we say we don't want to do something. And there are lots of things that I've done I didn't want to do. But you know who I learned don't give a shit about what I want to do? The mortgage company, the light bill people, the cable people, the people that fucking BP when I try to put gas in my car. When I run that little piece of plastic, if ain't shit on it, and they be looking at me, well, hey, man, I was trying to find something I like, but I couldn't find anything I like. They don't give a shit. You know who else don't give a shit? Hungry kids. Your spouse. Get a fucking job. And you know, this ain't what the show is about. I just had to say this to someone late. Having a job is like having, and I'm gonna get everybody in trouble right now. So I know Mo and Joe gonna act like they don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But having a job is like having a girlfriend. When don't nobody like you, you can't find shit. Soon as you get a girlfriend, people come out the woodwork at your ass. It's
that's facts. That's facts.
I'm not trying to get nobody in trouble, but you know, when you ain't got no girlfriend, ain't nobody checking for you. Soon as one girl give you a kiss on the cheek and say you my boyfriend, man, here come 50 women who didn't even know your name 7 minutes ago.
Yeah, that's true.
If you get a job, I'm telling you, my personal experience, I'll let the guys chime in, but when you get a job, other jobs just keep coming. And I want to say it's like getting a woman. When we get a woman, we act different. Our socks start matching. You know, now we smell a little bit better. We look because now we got something. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. When you got a little air of confidence, people want part of that. When they see you walking around like you the shit, they want some of that. Which is why, you know, the same thing applies to women. You know, some men are attracted to they say the pregnancy glow, because when women are pregnant, they tend to act a little different. They become a little bit more regal in their stride. I mean, that's out in public. Anybody who's been around a pregnant woman know behind closed doors, she's like the Wicked Witch of the East. But outside, everybody's attracted to that glow she puts on. And when men get something and we feel confident, we got that glow, man. You can't keep people from it. But anyway, I just said that to say, I want to apologize, but you know, snatching bodies always ain't easy. You can unmute Joe in like 3 minutes. I need him to pick, cause see that little smirk on his face. It's so unappreciated.
Hey, when he get the finger, it's over, baby. It's over.
When he trying to hide his mustache, you know he up to some shit. So I'm saying, so yeah, I just wanted to get that out. That's the end of the year. I just want to talk about a couple things right quick. You know, we still gonna have a little fun. Like I said, we getting ready for next year. We coming with sledgehammers and bow and arrows and all kind of shit. And we're gonna still have fun. We're gonna still talk a lot of shit. What's going on, Bobby? You know, I was looking at some things because I was debating whether or not I wanted to do a show, but I want us to go out with a bang. But first I want to start a little shit. Cause you know, in the next couple of days, I'm going back. I'm going way back there. They're saying the song. I'm looking for all these people who said they was going to be millionaires in 2023 so I can just call them abject liars. Because you still 100 heirs. I don't know how you figure claiming you're going to be a millionaire, but you don't do shit going to get you there. That ain't the way it worked from what I heard. You got to do a little something. Even if it's something that me and Joe ain't going to like that's going to cause us to chase your ass down a dark street. And please believe I am not pushing none of y'all to a life of crime. But you're not gonna be a millionaire by robbing the local gas station. I'm just telling you, you aiming way too low and you choosing way too high. I say, if you just want to pay your cable bill or take shot of the Applebee's, rob a local gas station. You're not gonna get rich off that shit. But the feds normally ain't gonna come looking for you for robbing one gas station. Again, I'm not promoting this shit. I'm just saying what you want, you need to be working towards. You need to be working towards. You ain't never hear Scarface or Al Pacino, Al Capone, whatever his name is, Jesse James. You ain't never hear none of them starting off small trying to get somewhere. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say.
Hey, wait, DVP. Did you just tell people to become better thieves? Is that what, Joe?
Nope.
Is that what I heard, man?
What I said was,
Joe, is that what I?
What I said was still according to your goals. That's what I said. Still according to your goals.
So you tell them to level up. That's what you telling them.
That's all. That's all. You ain't gonna listen. You're not gonna get to the NFL by playing Madden on PlayStation. This shit just ain't gonna happen. That's not the way it works. You got to go out there and do the work. So
wait,
you know, if
you mean to tell me I'm not gonna be a better auto thief by playing Grand Theft Auto?
Nope. But what you did, see, that's a play right there. Joe played Grand Theft Auto to see how y'all was breaking into them cars. So remember, the police play the same games y'all play, so we know y'all shortcuts. And every shortcut y'all learn from us on some of these dumbass cop shows, that's old shit. So they only teaching you shit from like 20 years ago. But when y'all play these video games, we getting current day knowledge. Man, I'm not finished with y'all. That's why I say I'm gonna have a good time this show. I see y'all already up to y'all shenanigans. How the hell are you, Mo?
Hey man, I can't complain, man. This is good, man. You know, we gotta hold some people accountable, man. We're getting towards the end of the year. Let's hold some people accountable. Let's make them commit. We need to commit, man. You know what I'm saying? Because we've been here, man. We've been here giving some information, giving some knowledge. It's time for people to capitalize, you know what I mean? And just that random talking. That's good. You can start like that, but we need to have some action, people. Gotta get some action.
Level up or shut up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's easy. And you know what? I'm gonna say this, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. It's okay to not want to be at the top. It truly is. You don't have to let nobody define where you should be in your life, because there is a time, I would say, that most of us, even people who have been successful, there was a point in time when they were content with their life. Because wanting more requires more. And sometimes you just don't have the energy. Some people are not good at taking rejection. You ain't gonna never get to the top if you can't take rejection. Rejection is gonna come, and it's gonna come, and it's gonna come. It's gonna be your best friend for a few years. So you gotta be prepared for the struggle that come with it. It ain't for everybody. So it's okay if it ain't for you. Don't let nobody tell you to keep doing it if it's putting you in a bad headspace, if it's causing you to just not be your best authentic self. That's okay. Everybody can't be the leader of leaders. Some people have to be followers. Be a good follower. You don't even have to be great, And I was funny. I hate when people tell somebody, well, whatever you do, just be the best at it. Some people don't want to be the best at something. They just want to fit in and blend in with the crowd. And I can want for Mo to be the greatest author in the world. But if Mo's goal is just to sell 20,000 books, he don't want to be the best. He just want to sell it 20, and that's his goal. We got to stop pushing what we want on the people who don't want what we want. That's how everybody get dejected and sad and people fighting about it, because people have told me, man, I see this in you. You could do this, you could do that. And I was like, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. So why you wishing that on me? Why you praying that and reaping that? I don't want that shit. I like going to sleep. I like doing this. I like doing that. And this is where we gotta be, right? But everybody don't want to be a millionaire, And hell, looking at the way society is set up, and I'm so tired of these people. We talked about this last show. People who talking about 50 grand ain't no money, but in your savings account you got $625. So 50 grand is some money. And even with becoming a millionaire, one of my clients told me, he said, what most people don't understand is people say they want to be rich, but they don't identify rich. So you'll never get there because you've never identified it. It's like losing weight. If you say you want to lose weight, what does that mean? You want to lose a pound? You want to lose 20 pounds? You have to give these things numbers. When you have a financial goal, you need to give yourself a number so you'll know whether you get into it or not. Because if you don't, how do you know if you're gaining on what you want to be if you don't know what you want to be? See, say I want to make $100,000 one year. Then once you make 100,000, you can raise the goal. But just saying I want to be rich, that's how so many of us set ourselves up for failure, because we don't have a definable goal. It has to be something you can touch. I want to lose 10 pounds. I want to lose 15 pounds. We got to just quit being random. But again, if that ain't what you want to do, quit letting people tell you that that's what you need to do. You know, Joe was a police chief. Somebody told me, oh man, you should run for sheriff. I'm like, why in the hell would I want to run for sheriff? You know how much digging into your background they do? I'm still putting super glue and that shit from the commercial on my closet door so don't nobody get in them. Why would I want to run for sheriff and be a public official and have everybody in my business? But for some people, that's their whole world. You got to know who you are, and we got to stop trying to live for other people, because that's where we fail. Now, me, Mo, and Joe, we open ourselves up a little bit because we do this show. So technically speaking, we're public figures, but in my world, we're just hood figures. Now, Roy wants us to level up. Roy wants us to go global. I ain't got no beef with that. But Roy can tell you, you know, if he wasn't sitting in the cut peeping, that when we started this show, the whole goal was, I think, 3 months. And people just kept coming because I don't know why. And Roy can tell you in the beginning, even when people used to watch the show, I would ask them why you're not doing something else. Because in my mind, I didn't want to do the show. I was just doing it because it was a challenge. It was a challenge from Roy. And one of my clients told me to step outside my box, so do something different. So I'm doing something different. I'm going to try this shit. I'm going to whatever. So it ain't supposed to work. And then all these people keep coming and coming. So Roy would tell you in the beginning, I was like, why ain't y'all people at work? Why ain't y'all in Bible study? Why the hell are y'all watching Facebook? Who does this? And it's funny, because I swear it seems like the more you insult people, the more they stay. And it's like, you know, they be like, oh, you so funny. It's like, but there's nothing I'm joking about. I need for y'all to go away so Roy will leave me alone, because Roy was being a pain in my ass. Roy was like, hey, man, you're a funny dude. People gonna like talking to you. I was like, Roy, I don't even talk to people in real life. Why would I talk to people on the social media app? But damn, if y'all didn't keep coming and keep coming. And I remember there was a time it would be 2 or 3 people on the show. And then one time it was 8 people. Then it was 20 people. Then Roy said some crazy shit like, let's go to the Jamaican place. And I was like, Roy, you know I don't like being around people. He said, oh, man, come on. Just give me a month. It started off with 2 people, then 5 people, then 6 people. Then one time it was like 25, 30 people. And I was like, man, this is some bullshit right here. Ain't y'all people got a life? Don't y'all be wanting to sleep? But see, that's one of them things where he wanted me to level up. I wasn't against it. I just didn't know nothing about it. But you can't make people be what they don't want to be. Go ahead, Joe. So I need you to leave your mustache alone before you wipe it. Go on and say something so we can use it for the rest of the show. Go ahead, Joe. Just get it off your chest, damn it.
Joe said hands in the air.
I just don't care. You know, I ain't gonna say nothing, Mr. Smarty Pants.
So you just gonna stand behind your United Federation of Planets and be a gangster like that?
You know, everybody want to be a gangster till it's time to do some gangster shit.
Ooh.
You know, Roy, remember I told you why I don't have friends? Because whenever you make friends, they start wanting to talk to you. And that's what a relationship always just saying the same once we start the exchange of information.
Hold on. Let's just clear one thing up.
2.
If it wasn't for the fact that I'm paid to be your friend, I wouldn't do it. I'm sending the checks back immediately. NSF, I'm not being this blankety blank's friend no more.
This is why you don't invest in Bitcoin, because people will act like Bitcoin is real money. Don't do it. You know,
I'm done.
What's going on, Catalyst? I'm gonna talk to people who I like. I'm gonna talk to people.
Let me say this.
Hold on. What is today's principle? Are we supposed to be getting along? Do I have to change the theme of the show to get along with people today?
Hold on, man. Hold on.
Don't do that.
Hold on.
Blasphemous.
Mr. Bitcoin. But some of you said earlier, and you were talking about 100 I'm talking about 1,000. So the unfortunate part is, because of where the state of Black Americans, you know, maybe that's something we should address next year. You know, instead of these fake State of the Union, the state of a Black America should be something that has to be addressed. I mean, they've tried to do it a couple of times, but at least nothing to my satisfaction, at least nothing that the three of us would agree was right. And I think the interesting dichotomy, the three of us, is that we have variant, or in your case, deviant, but variant ideas of success, Mr. Body Snatcher. But I suggest that we seriously give it, some consideration on doing a state of the state. Those areas that nobody wants to talk about.
Well, and of course, we're gonna do a bunch of uncomfortable conversations, and we're gonna be pushing. There are three things I would like for us to push next year for the people, as I've been getting them: uncomfortable conversations, accountability, and responsibility. We can't just keep letting them get away with being comfortable, being reckless, or being comfortable without having goals so that they can't fail. Because even though I don't want you to push people further than they want to go, once they truly know where they want to go, I still don't want us to accept failure and keep repeating ignorance because it's the popular thing to do. Bobby, you got me in trouble. Your comments are too long. I don't know why they fuss at me when your comments are so long, but yeah, they too long.
Could I address one thing you just said though? Failure is a part of success. And
exactly.
Here's what I mean. It's kind of like, people giving testimony. You can't give a testimony if you never had a test. You cannot succeed without failing. And there's the problem. A lot of people want to go and collect 200. Well, this ain't no board game. This is a thing called life. And I think history not only serves me well, but it has proven that in order to go where you want to be, you've got to start down here. If you read some of the books by what's the guy that does all the investment everybody talks about all the time, he always talks about how his failures led to his success.
Right.
Every millionaire, billionaire, whatever, talks about how they had to fail in order to recognize success. So don't be afraid to fail.
And you can't be.
So let me
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's all good. I just wanted to add to what Joe was saying. Joe, that's straight facts, man. And I just let the people know that the way I grew up figuring out what not to do. Nobody was there to tell me what to do or what I should do. I grew up figuring out what not to do. So every time I ran into something that didn't serve me well or didn't get me to where I was going, I crossed it off the list. I'm like, okay, I ain't doing that again. So it's not a good way to grow up, but that's my story. And it is not something for the faint of heart. It's not something you want to do. Trust me on that one.
But it's kind of like being a blue chip prospect, high risk, high rewards. But we have to know our own ceilings. And like I said, I hear sometimes people are pushing people, and sometimes the people that are being pushed, they're at their max. The best they're gonna ever be is a truly decent person. And they struggling hard to get that, and we keep wanting them to be more than they can be because we think we see something in them. Well, sometimes you gotta let people be them. And I would even say, without knowing everybody's story, it's the same with us. There are times we get to a point and then we want more. But there were times people want us to want more when we didn't. We were good with where we were at. Sometimes you can be doing this struggle thing so long that you just need 3, 4, 5, 6 months of peace. You don't want to keep battling. You need to regenerate. You need to get your mind right. And that's okay. That's okay to slow down. But you have to be true. You have to be true to yourself. And I was reading a post by a guy today, and he said, he making $250. He told his mama and some other people, and nobody said anything. And they got on him. He's like, well, who are you making $250 for? Are you making it for them or for you? If it's only important to you, why do you think other people are going to be excited for you? Because everybody don't have the same thing. And one guy made the comparison of, he said, I had a grandmother. She would never tell us she loved us unless we told her first. But anytime I said I was hungry, I always got a meal. I never had to tell her I was hungry. If she thought I was hungry, if I said, he said, so she showed her love in different ways, but she was not an affectionate person. Sometimes we reach out to people for validation, but they don't validate us the way we think we need to be validated. And that's one of the things we got to be real careful of. I give the example of I've done things. I know who to ask depending on what reaction I want. I know who to call if I want total honesty. I know who to ask if I want to do some shit that is borderline foolishness and fuckery. I know who to call that'll push me that direction. I know who will talk me off the cliff. When I don't want to be talked off the cliff, I'm not gonna call these people because they're gonna want me to do the right thing, and that's not what I want to do. And I do need a co-signer, but I need a co-signer to my bullshit. So, this is one of the things that when we're doing self-evaluation and we're being honest with ourselves, know who you call and why you call them. Because we'll say, oh, I got friends who always tell me the truth. And I would challenge you. You probably got friends who will tell you the truth that you want to hear, and you got friends who will tell you the truth that you don't want to hear. And you know who they are. Because even as I've talked to people, they don't always go to the same people unless they want something specific. One of my brothers called me, and it's funny because he didn't like my answer and he cussed me out. I said, why'd you call me? I'm gonna tell you to do the right thing. Ain't that some shit I'm telling people to do the right thing, even though I know I ain't gonna do it, but I'm not making a dumbass phone call. I'm not gonna tell you to do nothing wrong. Not when you lay out all the information, because I'm a big fan of writing things on paper. And looking at them, do the pros and cons, and decide which ones are those pros and cons, which ones are more important to you. And then make your decision based on that. Even if it's wrong, make the right decision for your wrong. Make the right decision based on what you want to do. I mean, Joe can understand that sometimes all you want to do is set the house on fire. So taking a nap, even though it is the best option because it'll keep you out of prison, it ain't what you want to do. It's do you want that big lighter or do you want one of them Everburn lighters? See, so now you burn this house down, you probably need the Everburn lighter. So when you toss it, you got time to run away. When you let that big go, the flame go out. I stayed at Holiday Inn Express last night. That's the only reason I know this. It's the only reason. Joe, there you go with that shit again. Joe, don't you have a corner in your United Federation of Planners? What Mo? I mean, Mo, you're supposed to be the voice of reason, Mo. Come on back up here. I'm not even gonna play with him today.
I wanted to address Bobby. Yeah, Bobby, what you said is facts, man. Bobby Wilson was saying that, if you invest $1,000 in a stock, all you can lose is $1,000, but you can stand to gain 10,000 or even 50,000 over time if you're patient. And that's true, man. If you don't get in, you remember that lottery saying, you can't win if you don't play.
Right.
Same thing with stocks. If you don't get your money in there, if you don't invest it. But here's the thing: the investing in stocks is so complex because when you diversify, now you got all kind of factors, right? I got an oil company, I got a restaurant, I got minerals, I got everything. I'm in medical, I'm in robotics, so I'm diversified now. It's even more complex, and there's less of a chance that you lose all your money because you diversified. But I'm not gonna get into all of the details, but I'm just gonna say, Bobby, man, you're right, and we're gonna be talking about stocks a little bit later next year. But that's a fact, and y'all should tune in for that.
But what he just said is actually something that Warren Buffett said, and that's what I was referring to, because a lot of Warren Buffett's investment tips are really common sense issues, and it exactly aligns with what Bobby's saying. I mean, it almost to the verbiage. So the real issue, you can lose 1,000 if it is what it is. But as one of the things that Buffett was keen on pointing out was you got to stay for the long term.
Right.
It isn't like one of the TV shows. Oh, I invested 1,000 a day in penny stocks, and I became, or the scheme of what people thought was the Bitcoin scheme. I'm gonna jump in now and with this data mining, and people didn't understand to this day. They don't know what data mining really is and how the blockchains work. So you got these guys who are making movies about how Milton Friedman Fry made billions of dollars, but they don't tell you that he's going to jail for a long time.
And
he bought a little island, bought an island, bought jet planes, but he's gone. So
hey, on that note, I'm gonna give it to you next, DVP. I just want to make a comment on what Joe just said. On that note, watch the movie on Warren Buffett, because Warren Buffett got in a lot of trouble. So watch the movie. It's a good movie, and it's going to teach you a lot about the higher level workings of how stocks are managed, how they use. It's going to teach you about the SEC, Security Exchange Commission, and a lot of other things. It's a good movie, and it will give you a basis and a little bit of understanding on if you want to we're going to be doing stocks next year. If you want to get involved in stocks, to give you a little, that'd be a little starter kit, your little stock starter kit.
And because I want you guys to be more intelligent. Like I say, let me go on and give a shameless plug. Join the group Black Money and Finance. We're gonna talk about a lot of things, and Mo got his hand in his stocks, and I'm doing some things. What I'm doing is I'm grade school. Mo gonna be grad school, because I want you guys to learn how to save money first, because I think one of the biggest problems that we have with investing is everybody want to do $20,000, $30,000 first year, and they ain't even learn how to save $50. So I got some little charts up on how you can save money. I even got one that'll show you how you can save $600 a year, and it's crazy because this is how I started my savings, because it's actually relatively easy to do. And I used to watch people. I've never been a big fan of Christmas, but that's a whole nother story. But every year we know Christmas is coming, and you would see people go broke every year for Christmas. And it's like, okay, when December 26th hit, you should start saving for next year, as opposed to waiting for December 26th to hit, and you looking at this $12,000 in debt you got, and you trying to pay it off. Some people are still paying off 2-3 Christmas ago because they never learned to save money, and they don't know how to cut back. Because I think some of y'all giving because of guilt. But if you start saving money, one of the first ones I did was, I think you save $1,300 by the end of the year if you follow the little plan. So the last 2 years I did Christmas, I knew in my mind I was only going to spend $1,200 for Christmas, because that's what I had saved up. So it didn't come out anything other than a Christmas fund. And what I learned from saving, one is to save whatever the week is, you put that amount in savings. So week 26, you put $26 in. Week 35, you put $35 in. And other than December can get pretty pricey because you're going to put in $200 in that month. But there's some that will let you do it every 2 weeks. There's some that'll let you do in rotating basis. And I got like 12 different charts. So to me, the biggest thing when we start doing this, especially to get us out of where we are at this socioeconomic thing, is we got to learn to put money to the side. And I know a lot of us are living paycheck to paycheck, and it sucks. But if we're being honest, there's something you can cut out. If it means that you have to give up a meal, go on and buy a pack of bologna and a loaf of bread and eat that every day, because that's only $3. That'll feed you for 10 or 15 days, which means you ain't got to eat out. So we gotta start learning discipline. And I think the sooner we learn discipline, not just financial, but once we learn discipline, we'll become a much better people. Because when you can control your thoughts and your minds and your actions, everything else is a piece of cake. We can stop hating each other. We can stop hurting each other, because we're building something. And if all I ask you to do is to save, if I ask you to save $5 a week, most people say they could do it. Most people say they could do it. And what's 5 times 52? One of y'all, come on now.
262.
Huh?
262.
That can't be right. 5 times 5. Oh, my calendar. Anyway, bro, where you at? You the math guy?
I just told you.
But 5 times anything, it's got to end in 0 or 5. It can't end in a
260. 260.
Okay, so that's $260. That don't even sound right. Because that would be what? $20 a month? Yeah, that's right. So even if you don't say nothing but $260 a year, it's starting off with something. And then when you see you can do that, see, now let's skip a night at the club. Like when people have come to me and say, yeah, I can't save no money. I'm like, you know what all this work are you doing? I ain't telling you what not to do, but why you spending all this money on cable? You working all the time. Cable is an expensive ass bill. Now, some of these people paying $150+ for cable. You can get you a Fire Stick for $35. You can get one of these little crack programs for $10. So now you don't spend $150 over the year as opposed to $150 a month. There are ways to cut things out. It's just whether or not you want to go through all that, because now you can't just watch TV like you was used to. You lose a little comfort when you buy the car that you can afford versus the car you want. And you know, once you start getting people to give up some of these exceptions and stop living for everybody else, do this for you because you got a long-term plan. It makes everything a whole lot easier. At this stage in the game, I'm gonna speak for the gentleman here. We're older. We don't work most of our lives. If we got a car that we want, we're at a point now where it's okay for us to get that car. But what's the point? I've never understood having a car and then you have to work for your car. Your car should be working for you. Your car should be working for you. Until you save up enough to get there, then you can get the car you want. But oh man, I want this Mustang. Or what is there? Everybody getting all these charges or whatever. Damn, your insurance costs more than the car note, and you always crying about you ain't got no money. We got to stop setting ourselves up for failure. 2024 is coming. So in order to see success, you got to put yourself in a point to succeed. See, like we were talking about earlier, if you want to be a football player, you got to start doing football things, not playing the game. You got to start doing things to go learn to play. Want to play basketball? There are things you got to put out there to do. If you want to learn about money, you got to start being around people who understand money, not people who keep asking you, well, hey man, I can get you if you give me 10,000. Most of us don't have 10,000 laying around, so we immediately turned off. Most of us don't have $1,000 laying around, so we're immediately turned off because nobody told us about penny stocks. Like I was telling Mo, my first foray into stocks was with Cash App, because it'll let you do the roundup thing, and it'll put money in stocks, and they ask you, hey, that's how I got stock in Exxon. 20 cent here, 18 cent there, and it didn't hurt me with nothing. And as I'm watching it and say, oh, you know, now it's worth this, and it ain't much because I was doing the penny stock thing, but I can see what's going on now. So now I'm a little bit more interested. But you ain't got to always start out with $5,000, $10,000, $20,000. And I think that's what scares us, because we don't want to say we're scared. But as Bob was saying before, if you invest your last $10,000, which you should never do, that's $10,000 that you could lose, because nothing is guaranteed. And I ain't gonna never tell you to put your last in it. You ought to have a nest egg, but you have to learn how to save and start investing, because when life is lifing, it'll mess up your whole financial plan if you hadn't planned forward. One of the things that I learned from being a cop is most cops were living paycheck to paycheck, and if you hadn't gathered this shit, I was a little bit of a troublemaker. You know how your employer can control you?
Liar.
It's your paycheck. If you don't get paid, you lose a lot of your fire. But once you learn how to save up money, and once I had 6 months I had 6 months worth of rent paid up, saved up, I could go back to being a rebel. Because they're not gonna suspend me for 6 months. They only gonna get me for 3 or 4 days. But I ain't living check to check no more. And people say, man, you don't care. I say, oh, I do care, but it ain't gonna hurt me financially now. But when that's all you're doing, live from paycheck to paycheck, there's a lot of risks that you can't take, because what they say, scared money can't make money. And you just gotta have I'm sure right now that between the three of us, easily, if we had to put our hand on $1,000, we could do it in less than 10 minutes. But we've worked to get there. Now, if you'd asked us this 20, 30 years ago, we'd be like, shit, where the guns at? But as we've gotten older, we've gotten smarter. And as most all the time, we're trying to impart this on you, because if somebody would have imparted this on us early, we'd be much better in the game. But nobody told us about debt and credit and saving and as opposed to going out and increasing your lifestyle every time you got a raise. Or like with me and Joe, when we get a part-time job that's paying us money under the table, we just bought more shit. We never invested because nobody told us about that. I'm sure that if Joe think about how much money he blew on part-time job, he just smacked the shit out of himself. Because I knew I blew a shitload of money. Because it was unaccountable. But I remember one time I was saving up. I got a job strictly to buy a PlayStation. The PlayStation was $400. That's the only reason I got this job, because I didn't want to pay for it out of my money. My mom says, you ain't got enough money to get that PlayStation yet? And I'm just putting money up under my mattress. So when I get the 400s, I'm going to get this PlayStation. But then I ain't counting no more. So she was like, how much money you got under your mattress now? So I said, I don't know. I probably got about $200-$300. I still ain't got enough. She said, why you ain't got enough? You've been working for 6 months. She said, count the money. Okay. I moved the mattress. I started counting the money. 300, 400. So I get quiet because that's how much it costs. My mom said, that's all of it. I said, I don't want to talk no more. I had almost $6,000 up under my mattress.
Damn. Jeez.
But I don't know what to do with it because, like I said, ain't nobody told me because I still should have been putting it in the bank so that I could see what was going on. But I didn't know this. Because what did the old people do with their money? They put it up under the mattress. They put it in a jar somewhere. It don't do nothing for them but stay there. We feel safe. Because we know if the house catch on fire, it's gonna miss the money. Because that's what it does. All money is fireproof. Don't quote me on that, people, because if you lose your shit, I'm gonna swear this never happened. But with the knowledge that we didn't have, Joe, what did you do with the money you was making for part-time jobs?
I spent it.
Because cops make obscene amount of money working part-time jobs. And we pay cash for a lot of shit like drug dealers. Whereas we should have been investing. But nobody told us that.
Correct.
Yeah, and I want to add this. Let me add this, DVP. So this is a kind of a way you could kind of conceptualize money. This is my own analogy I came up with because I was sitting here thinking one day and I was trying to figure out, how do you explain this to somebody? And the best way I came up with it was think of yourself in a lifeboat. All right, you're in a lifeboat. And now the lifeboat is, keeping you afloat. In the water, the lifeboat's keeping you afloat. Now, every single bill you get, all the money you got to put out, that means they poke a hole in your boat, right? So now you got every bill you get, they poke a hole in the boat. So what's going to start happening? Boat is going to start sinking. And so you think about that, right? You got these little slow leaks in the boat. The boat is starting to fill up with water with little slow leaks everywhere. All these bills you got. So the point is what you want to try to do is start clogging those holes up wherever you got those leaks at. So, and then after that, you got to, scoop the water out the boat so you can stay afloat. It's no difference for money. We all got these leaks everywhere you turn, all your bills, all these, you got fees everywhere. You got all this stuff happening. All them the slow leaks you got your salary coming in and then you got all these slow leaks and your money's gone, right? You got nothing. Well, the way you counteract that, the scoop to get the water out the boat is to start investing, man, because that's the only legal way that I know how the average per you saw it's so illegal, right, Joe? It's the only legal way that I know where you can take your money and grow it. It's the only way I know. There might be some other ones, but that's the only legal way I know.
Yeah, no, I want part of my long-term research. I've been looking at this for a long time. Was the effect of the lottery in the Black community?
Oh man!
And some of the things that I've come across should terrify us. The fact of the matter is, without going into a long, drawn-out diatribe on it, but that was the worst thing that could have hit us. Next to the crack epidemic, they find ways. They have found ways to nullify us. Wow. And when they came up with, and I have to agree with Bobby, that was a great analogy, by the way. Let me segue back to that. But if we look at how this whole lottery thing is being used, as opposed to what it should have been used for, we start seeing where financial literacy comes into play. And let me just sidetrack that for a second. In the last year, there have been 4 mega pots in the mega lottery, which were over 100 million, 250 million. One was in fact, close to $1 billion.
Yeah, one hit $1 billion.
And here's the interesting thing. Let me this is what threw me. And this is part of why I was doing the research. 4 of those winners all came out in California. Now, when I started talking to some other professors, they said that statistically it would be impossible because lottery was not from California was not putting in that type of money into the overall pot. And here's how it was explained to me. The amount of Black people playing lottery, say in Chicago, is not commensurate with the number of winners. So, common sense would say if there's 3 people playing, say the lottery, and 2 of them are Black, statistically, the 2 that are Black should probably win more than the one guy.
Right.
However, that's not the case. The one guy seems to be winning more than the 2 when the 2 are putting in more money into the overall pot.
Oh,
And that's on a nationwide scale.
yeah.
Chicago, New York, California, and there's a couple other states. Blacks are contributing to these things, and the numbers just are not coming out right. And nobody wants to address it. Here's the other thing. In most cases, lotteries were started to fund education across the board. But again, I put this out there. The majority of the people that play these games, us, are not getting a return on the dollar in their communities. And our politicians are not talking about it. I mean, we want reparations, but how about unrigging some of these games? If we started getting our share like we're supposed to, we wouldn't have to worry about these other issues. If you gave us the equal education that was supposedly dictated for us, we wouldn't have all this affirmative action. In Chicago, we used to have this thing, and across the board in most police agencies, they had this thing called a merit promotion. In Chicago, a judge said, we're going to have this merit to bring Blacks on parity, listen to the word, on parity with white males. Well, don't you know some of your kind became chiefs of police, and they used the merit in order to boost women and other minorities, not Black men, which it was originally designated for.
Mm-hmm.
So these are some things we've got to have the conversations about. We've got to start talking about these things because they are functioning. And I tell you what, I want you all to check with your friends and see how many people play the lottery. Tell me what numbers they're winning. Tell me what kind of money they're winning back.
And see, that's a good point, because what they do is they let us win the small one, so we'll still keep playing. I actually know one guy who won a big one, like a huge one, because he called us to do security for him. He didn't tell nobody his job. He bought a house. He disconnected all the phones. He went to work until everything settled. Then the last day we went to work with him. He got a little convoy. He told me, because he didn't say nothing. I mean, he didn't tell us what was going on until the last day. He was like, yeah, I just want to let y'all know that this is the last day. No hard feelings, but here's the phone that y'all had, because I'm not giving nobody my phone number. I want to say he won 50 or 60 million. He said, yeah, we moving. We don't want to talk to none of y'all no more. And he walked out.
That's it.
And I was like, well, damn. We took him to the airport. It was the last I saw him. But he slowly moved everything. He sold everything. And I was like, well, damn, that's the way to do it. But he's the only guy I know who won a truly, truly big one.
Look, man, go watch that show. What is My Lottery Dream Home, and tell me what's. I mean, I'm happy for these people, but there's something wrong here. I mean, seriously wrong. In fact, I had gotten to the point. I mean, you talk about being radical. I told people, look, man, go back to playing the policy wheel. At least the policy kings put money back in the community.
Yeah.
I think there's so many traps out there for us. I'm looking at something, and like I said, we're gonna talk more about money next year. Because I don't want to discourage people. I do want you to do your own work. But every time I hear somebody keep saying what we got to do with Black banks, and I've looked into a lot of them, and I haven't seen one that did anything for the community. I ain't seen one that give back to school bags. I ain't seen one that rescues people of color from losing their home. So why do I want to keep going to a black bank? It's like, well, they ain't got enough money yet. You shitting me, because the one that sounds like Greenwood that everybody kept talking about, they still ain't done shit. And I look, they ain't done shit. They ain't done shit. I don't care what nobody say. I look, they ain't done shit.
Hey man, look, let me throw this at you. Burn me up so bad. Again, I blame this on our black elected officials. In the city of Chicago, under one mayor, they closed 50 schools in the black community, probably more like 75. They turned around and then built 10 elementary school campuses. So they take 50, 75 schools, but they build them campuses. I mean, some of these schools look like, college stuff. And not one of our politicians, not one, stood up and said anything about it. And I have problems with that. But what can I say?
I got one better, and I wish I had the article because I meant to send it to you guys. And it's out of New York, where they say they giving the Buffalo Bills an $800 million tax credit for something. The Buffalo Bills, an NFL football team that's worth $1 billion, they giving them $800 million tax credit to do something, but they just cut $850 million affordable housing for black people.
Oh man!
Wait! Oh man! In the city of Chicago, we're giving these new migrants, not the homeless, not none of these people losing their homes, $9,000 a month.
Wow!
Now, two things just happened. They are also allowing the migrants to become police officers, which I'm definitely against. And I believe on the national level, they're going to be allowed to carry weapons. Now, we've got those things we got to talk about. We got to talk about that.
And I love the conversation, but it's like with anything else, because, like we do here, and this is, again, it's the goal. Every problem we come up with, we want to at least give you 3 or 4 solutions. Correct. Because sometimes we bitch just a bitch, and if they're waiting for a solution, we don't have one, they take for what it is, and then they ignore us. Because you have to give them some solutions. And I talked about this before. You have to know there's some problems that can be fixed within 24 hours. Some can be fixed within 24 days. Some can be fixed within 24 months. When you're having honest, legitimate discussions, you have to know what the actual time frame is. And I don't want to veer off too much, but it was like in Minnesota, they stopped their chokehold the next day. See, that wasn't something nobody had to go through, even though the chokehold been existing for a year. There are some other sponsors that came out within a month that was undoing all the stuff they did. You have to know what can be done immediately. And too many times, things that take 2 years, we want to do in 2 days. Things that take 2 days, we give them 2 years to do, because we don't give them ultimatums with time limits. And we have to know that the time limits are legitimate. And this is where we have to stop depending on one person to know everything. Get people who are experts in everything so that you don't have a single point of failure. When you're trying to learn something, get people who get multiple people. Again, like right now, like I said, Mo knows way more about stocks than me. He probably know a lot. I know how to save money. I know how to cut costs, and I know how to be disciplined. I want you to invest. But for me to make Mo's investment strategies work for you, I got to show you how to save money. I got to show you how to become so that you're not living from paycheck to paycheck. And it's going to be hard because some of y'all don't want to live at your means because you're doing things for the Joneses. You're living here and here and here. Everybody say, why you don't buy a new car? New car come with a new car note. And to me, that's the end of the conversation. Because I don't want to spend. I figure the average car note is about $350. So you know what I do now? I save $350. I put it in an account. See, that's money to invest. Because I just went out and bought a buy here, pay here car off Facebook. Cost me, it wanted $35. I paid $27. Cost me $200 to get some work done on it. So that would have been almost 9 months of payments. If I paid that, let me just do this and keep moving. Because now I don't have to do all these other things. So we got to learn how to save money. We got to learn how to become more educated on the small things. Because everything starts with a baby step. Then as you get better and better at What Joe left knowing as a police chief ain't what Joe knew when he came in as a police recruit. You learn a little bit more. You keep adding to the letter. What Mo didn't know about stocks, when the little white guy said something to him, he started adding to his steps. We got to stop wanting to go from 1 to 10. You got to do the hard work from 2 through 9. And this is something we got to do. And we got to quit being scared to have uncomfortable conversations. We got to quit being scared to have conversations where we don't know shit, and we have to admit that to people. Go ahead.
Because I might have said this before, but I'm gonna say it again because this is something I think that will change the way people think about certain things. Because I'm gonna use Kobe Bryant, because with Kobe Bryant, he would go to practice with his team, and he'd be playing harder, almost harder, or at least as hard as he would play in the game. And the dudes was like, the teammates was like, "Yo, man, chill out. We're just in practice." He said, "Listen, if you in practice, you should practice harder than what you're going to play in the game. You don't wait till you get in the game to play hard. You play hard now before you get in the game." And man, that just made all the sense in the world. So, anything you do, you gotta prepare before you actually do it, and get some experience and knowledge, and get yourself prepped before you actually do it. And you know what I'm saying? Put yourself through some rigor before you actually go out and do it. It's going to make it a lot easier, and you're going to be a lot more informed.
Right. Too many times we like to convince ourselves we got a button that we can push to crank it up, and that's just not how life works. Again, like I said, and I'm picking on Joe because we had the same things. When you train hard to do raids and stuff, all raids are easy. When you start slacking, that's when you get people hurt because they become comfortable. But when you train hard all the time, the football team I played for, I hated our practices. I ain't played in not one game that was harder than our practices. I hated practice. I always came out of practice bruised and needing 2 bails. We played games when them dudes weren't hitting nowhere near as hard. It was so much easier. And I'm looking at guys who are defeated by us because we going so hard at them. And to us, we're not going that hard no more because they ain't playing that hard. So we can, and it's like, man, them dudes, they don't even look like they stressed. But our coach had us running hard for 2 hours. Hard. So when we get to a game that ain't but an hour, we got plenty of energy because we still prepare for another year, and we don't get the slack off. I mean, it was to the point, like I say, when we felt ourselves getting tired of something, it was nothing to raise your hand and get somebody to come in because if the coach caught you slacking, you weren't going to play the rest of the game. So you ain't finna be tired out there. Oh, man, I just need to catch me second win. Nope. Let me get somebody else in so I can get back in, because if he catch me slacking on the play, and this is the same way with life. When you train I teach people to train for the worst case scenario. Once you can have the worst case scenario, everything else is a piece of cake. Everything else. And the scenario I always use is driving. When we first drive, everybody drive at 10 and 2. We tight. We doing everything. When that first car cut over in front of you, you panic. You do. But think about where you at now. People can cut in front of you. You have enough wherewithal because you've been through this practice. You can shoot them a bird, say something about their mama. You know whether or not to slow down, go left or go right without even thinking about it because you put your mind through that stress. And this is what we have to start doing, preparing for it. And one of the things I like to do is when I started my budget, I gave myself X amount. I opened up an account and had money going there, and I cut up the debit card, so I couldn't go back and get none of that money. Because that's what we'll do. We'll put money away for safekeeping or for an emergency, but then as soon as we get hungry, that's an emergency. I just cut the card up because it's going to take them 7 days to send you another one. So by that time, you're like, fuck it, I ain't gonna get the card in time. I might as well. And I forced myself to save money, but it's like, okay, these are my bills. I can live off $625 a month. So I'm gonna just make it $700 just in case everything else going somewhere else. But I had to give up a lot of stuff. I had to give up a lot of creature comforts to get to where I wanted. And this is where I think a lot of people don't want to do because we're so used to struggling that we think it's normal. And we're not struggling for a reason. When you're struggling, you should be doing it for a reason. When Joe and Mo want to take their wife on a whirlwind tour, and we gonna all go to our wife and say, "Hey, baby, this is what's gonna happen. for the next 4 months, I'm gonna work hard as hell because I want to take us on this 6-month cruise. Well, except for Joe, the way he's shaking his head. But when you let them know that you got this plan, that you want to do this, and they know what's going on, they don't give you the same beat. And this is what I tell a lot of guys: quit doing stuff in secret if it's gonna take away time from the household because they don't understand. But if they buy into the program, they become your biggest cheerleaders. Because once our wives know that we plan on taking them on a 6-month cruise or wherever it is, somewhere expensive, and we're gonna work hard for 3 or 4 months to get this done, man, they making breakfast, they running back, they doing because they want this. So they know they're gonna have to give up something. They're gonna have to give up a little time to go on this thing because it ain't gonna happen naturally. But everybody has to put in something, and this is where we have to stop keeping secrets or I don't want to say nothing to nobody just in case it don't work. Well, shit, say something to somebody. That's your accountability buddy. Hey man, what you doing? What you doing, Joe? How your savings coming along? See, so now there's a little bit more pressure on him to keep it going. When you have a true accountability buddy, and this is, I think these are the things that stun us because we love to say, "Oh, I'm claiming 2024. I'm gonna be a millionaire. I'm claiming it." Are you working it? What's your plan? What's your plan to become a millionaire? You gonna pray for it? You gonna stick up some people? I mean, what's your plan other than you writing it down on a Facebook post?
Fight the way you train the way you fight.
You know, and that's what we got to get in the habit of it. I mean, the one thing I appreciate about these guys, Roy and my team, is when I first started doing this show, we talked a lot. Roy was the first one who made me do research when we did the case in Ferguson. Because now when people are listening to me and they challenge me on stuff, I need to come from a fact-filled basis, not how I feel, even though I will give y'all things that I feel and I'll tell y'all. But most of what we talk about now is I can point to tell you why this is this. Joe can point and say, hey, this is this. I don't care if you like it. Truth be told, hell, we don't like some of the things that are factual. It don't change the fact that they're factual. And if we want to get around it, we got to come up with a better set of facts or a much better plan to get around this so we can change it. This is where the collaboration comes in. This is where you don't need a bunch of yes people. You need people who, when you say something, they will challenge you, not out of disrespect, but to make sure your plan ain't gonna fall easy. Because, and I hate to use my police career, but it is what it is. Before we did raids, when I was on a drug task force. The task force job is to destroy your search warrant. Nobody's supposed, even if you write out the best warrant possible, you're supposed to go in there for a 20-minute grill session and everybody's supposed to agree so that when you do it and you got to go to court, it's like, shit, I already been through this. Because everybody's just saying, yeah. And you're going to end up doing a shitty warrant because nobody's tested it. And this is how you become good at your craft. This is how you don't become so sensitive when people challenge you or question you because, again, I'm going to put the gentleman to the test. When you know your shit, is it any question anybody can ask you that will piss you off?
Well, it's funny you say that because when I was training detectives, one of the things that we train them on is for testimony, trial prep. And I would always open my sermon with this. If you can think of a question that can be asked of you, know that question is going to be asked. So think of something that you might be innocuous, and I'll be damned. People didn't come back to me and say, you were right. I said, well, yeah, they are the same people you are. They're just dressed differently, but the thought process is the same, particularly when it comes to law enforcement. So if you can think of a question that has not been asked, that's the one that's going to be asked of you. And to a man, or to a woman, I was right on the money. But let me add one thing to this conversation. One of the things that we have to really have a hard conversation about is why and how we get played in politics. And here's what I mean. See, we don't put the value on politics like other groups. Prime example, Liz Cheney was told, don't run because you can't get elected. What happened? She didn't get reelected. Why? Because they knew the power of the vote. Now, what do? The reverse. We leave in office those people who look like us. And as Al Sharpton said, he may look like me, but he ain't my kind. One of the most profound things that little son ever said, but he was right. Because everybody look like us ain't us. Nor are they for us. But everybody looks like some other groups. Their groups always get representative. as bad as I dislike Merchant and Semina, whatever her name is, they represent their group to a T. As bad as I dislike Trump, he represents his group. And unfortunately, there's some of us that agree with his nonsense. But my point to you is, and again, we fail to understand the power of that vote. Even though we've been told from Malcolm X to King, all the people they've killed have come and told you how important your vote is. But yet we let ourselves get played because guess what? That politics is tied into the economics.
Economy. And that's why we're so easily ignored. That's why every time I see somebody talking about don't vote, our vote don't matter. And it's like you truly are an infiltrator. Because I was watching MSNBC last night because I meant to ask you guys to look this up. Have y'all heard of the Ocoee story in Florida? Man, y'all gotta check that out. We talk about Tulsa and all this other stuff. There's so much history around what we do. For you to hear the Ocoee story and not vote means that you have got to be at the bottom of the crab barrel.
I've got 20 cities. I got 20 cities that I guarantee you our people have never heard of. Ocoee is just one of them. Ocoee, between Tulsa, Ocoee, there's a couple places in Illinois. Here, the best one. Remember this, when we were growing up, maybe not you, Mo, because you ain't that old.
Me either. I ain't nobody old as you, Joe, but anyway.
Moses was your kid brother, but okay. And you dropped the other tablet. I'm not talking about the Apple either. So here's the thing. So these people talk about, if you were growing up in the late 50s, they call you Uncle Tom. Well, if you go read the book, Uncle Tom's Cabin, the character of Uncle Tom by Harry Beecher Stowe was actually the good guy.
Right.
Yeah.
He was actually found to have opened, or he founded a colony in Canada for runaway slaves. The villains in the book were Simon Legree and Sambo. But because we let revisionist history, which is another talking point at another time, we let this revisionist BS come in, and now we call everybody Uncle Tom. They were calling the guy, the Supreme Court Justice, Uncle Tom. That's the last thing you should be calling him.
Right.
Simon Legree, because he's said and done some things that were outrageous. But again, we get played because we don't know. And there are at least 20 cities. And I've got the books for you. Hey, would you mind me, Mo? Where's my umbrella?
This guy is nuts. We got to talk offline, man. You can't come at me on the show like that.
I got bust you out. Oh, and DVP got his. Oh.
It ain't autographed. It's blank.
Oh, I can't tell because it keeps. Okay. All right. Yeah.
It's blank. Yeah, I might as well check that out the library. But that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, I didn't get my text, man. I sent it to you, man, on the chat, man. It was in the chat. In the chat.
Yeah, the check's in the mail too. I got you. Yeah. Okay. We know what the rest of that story is. So, but anyway, so these books I want to send. We got to talk about them because there's a book called Pleading Out that we really should get into, and he talks about, and it's from a defense attorney, and he talks about how the plea originated in the late 1700s to keep indentured servants. So, people think plea bargaining was something new. No, it happened first happened in 1700s. So the views expressed by viewers. Okay. That's good.
Roy, look at Roy going on a protection campaign.
In trouble again. Dag nabbit.
I'm done. I can't. I'm done.
And Bobby, this is to you and a group I talk to a lot. And me and Joe have had this conversation. Yeah, we've had a lot of setbacks, we've had a lot of obstacles, and it's okay to name them. But at some point, once you know what the problem is, you can't keep blaming the same problem. We have got to start coming up with solutions as opposed to keep saying what happened so long ago. Right. This is our fault now. Our, as in black men. This is our fault. Yeah, blacks know the other blacks are the problem. That's why we don't like dealing with each other. That's why we can't do business together. And let me help you out here, because this is a phrase I don't like to use. It ain't the blacks. It's that do blacks know the other niggas are the problem? Because every time we start talking about coming up, everybody keep wanting to bring everybody. And I've said this, you can't take everybody with you. You can only take those that want to come, who belong. See, we want to hold on. And again, I ain't going, when we find a black cancer, and there have been quite a few, you know what black people do? We double down on them and talk about how the white man caused them to do something. When white people have a cancer, they cut it off. They don't even go through chemo or none of that shit. They just start lopping them off. They don't get to come with them. Yeah. We keep trying to hold on to people who we know are bringing us down, and we call them out. And one of the funniest things that I noticed, and this is just the craziest shit to me, and because these guys ain't sensitive, I'm gonna use Mo and Joe. I don't like Mo, and I like Joe. So as long as I'm agreeing with Joe, you know, this is strict, purely fictional. As long as I'm agreeing with Joe, I'm supporting my kind. Even Joe wants to destroy black people. I don't like Mo. You know, the problem is black people don't stick together. But the minute I like somebody you don't like, then y'all start name calling. All of us, we may look alike, but we're not the same. We got to start liking people and supporting them based on their ideology, not based on the bass in their music, not based on other bullshit. And that's our biggest issue, because we are the problem. We fail to identify cancers in our own society. Yeah. Suppose that black people playing historical.
Do you want me to take that one?
Go ahead, Joe. He asked.
Yeah, Bobby, let me just say this. Without being, because I can tell you by the look of DVP's devilish little blinky eyes. When DVP starts squinting, you got a problem. But I will say this, Mr. Wilson. What roles did black people play in historical events? Everything. And that's the simplest.
It's a fact.
Easiest. But let me just say this to you. When it comes to saving lives, and this is the easy one, in the United States, if it hadn't been for Daniel L. Williams and a couple of other geniuses, half these people wouldn't be alive today. The invention of plasma, open heart surgery. Open heart surgery didn't happen in South Africa. It happened in Chicago, a place called Providence Hospital. The guy that invented the plasma died because he couldn't get a transfer. We won World War I because of black soldiers. World War II too, and Vietnam, if you want to call it that. I mean, so we've played historical significance in the development of this country. I've got documentation. There's a book out called The 272. Take a read. And it talks about, it traces how the Jesuits used slavery to keep, promote Catholicism.
Yeah. So look, I want to add this too, because there'll be a lot of, this is for black and white people, all colors, all types of people. If it wasn't for a black woman named Henrietta Lacks, a lot of people be dead right now, because they took they stole this lady's plasma and they gave it to everyone, because she was like the fountain of youth, man. Her plasma cells were impenetrable to viruses, all kind of things. So they took them and they gave them to every people. So if you want to know what black people did, that's one right there. The hospital stole them. The hospital just got sued. You could look it up. They just got sued for a ton of money because they stole this woman's, they stole her blood and they doled it out like they came up with the serum. So that's one thing for sure.
But and I'm gonna stick to this because it's been something I've seen since I started paying attention. We, as in men, we are quick to want to always place blame. So yeah, I can't keep buying into this great black men theory. Yes, there are some, but black men are notorious for coming up with excuses. We can all, oh man, I didn't grow up with my dad, so that's why I ain't shit. I didn't have this, that's why I ain't shit. We got choices to make. We will sit here. The dude that was doing community service with his chest out. I'm a man. Dude, you're not a man. You're just fucking old enough to be considered an adult, but you're not a man. Based on what men are supposed to do, men take accountability and responsibility. We can't be accountable and responsible if we blame somebody for everything and we know it ahead of time. See, if somebody breaking Joe's house right now, somebody breaking the Mo house right now, that awful thing. Somebody breaking DVP house, awful thing. Why we ain't got alarms? See, that's our fault. Because we know that crime exists. At some point, we have got to be accountable for the decisions that we make or fail to make with the knowledge that we have. See, yeah, we can't control somebody running the red light. We can't control that. But when we get to our domiciles, there's a lot of control we have. When it comes to having sex, we have a shitload of control. Ain't no woman never grabbed me by the headlock and said, hey, MF, you're not finna put this condom on and you finna get this right now. See, every one of them choices was mine. But we'll blame the woman for that. We will never take accountability for that. Black men love to tell black women to be more responsible. When do we tell black men to be more responsible with their seed? See, the whole thing of always blaming, that's what we keep falling behind. At some point, I guarantee you, every man on this panel has said, you know what? I fucked up. How do I fix that? You can't keep saying, oh, I didn't get this because of so-and-so. You knew what the chances were already. You knew what you got to do to get there. And do we have to do things we don't want to sometimes? I will tell you now, absolutely. I'll call Mo and Joe both a lot. They say that they always got to do whatever they wanted to. Sometimes you have to acquiesce and do, as my dad said, do what you have to so that you can do what you want to. Now, if all you want to do is blame somebody, then that's what we keep doing. But I just showed them an article about a police officer, a female police officer, who stopped a white man from beating a black man. What were the black men officers? Not doing shit. What were the black men doing when George Floyd was getting his ass choked out? Not doing shit. It was a little girl right there. They wasn't doing shit. We'll blame everybody, but when it comes time to act, all this fighting, all this other bullshit we put up with, where are we, Bobby? Where are we? Who knocked George Zimmerman out? A white dude talking shit amongst a bunch of other black dudes. Who was the one we just did? Who got stabbed in prison 2 weeks ago?
Oh, yeah.
Derek Chauvin.
Who stabbed him? A fucking Mexican. Where the black men in prison? They hard, they thugs, they all this, but they don't stand up for shit. But we said it talking about we kings, we this. Where the fuck are they, Bobby? Where the fuck are they? We ready to go to war. We ready to do this. What did Joe say earlier? Everybody want to be a fucking gangster till it's time to do some gangster shit. And then we fall back behind on other people. We are defended more times than not by women and people of other races. Now, go look it up. Go look it up. Go look up why Claudette Colvin got pushed to the back. Because she was young, she was dark-skinned, and she was pregnant. Who said we don't want to use her? It wasn't the white people. It was black people who said we don't want to use her. She was there way before Rosa Parks, but she didn't fit the description that we put on us. So we can't keep saying what they do. The history is there. We have done more damage to us than anybody else. Who was the man that's supposed to get picked instead of Martin Luther King? Bayard. But why didn't Bayard get picked? Because we didn't want a gay man. That was us, Bobby. That was not the white people. That wasn't a white woman. That was us doing that. And who was in leadership? Black men. Black men. So we'll say what we want to say because it sounds cute. But Joe's a fucking historian. Ask Joe in my line about anything I just said.
No.
And we have got to stop doing this. We have got to stop. That's why everybody hate when I call out so-called grown-ass men. Do some grown man shit. Do some grown man shit. You ain't gotta be as stupid as me and Joe and help total strangers by putting your life in danger, but you can make a phone call. That ain't that hard. Hey, I see some shit going. I don't know them people. Go to a white neighborhood. They telling on everybody who doing something illegal.
Yep.
Them boys at I don't want to get involved. We can't keep living like that and then saying it's them. We can't keep letting people tell us the president that won't get our streets fixed. It ain't the president's job. We can't keep letting them tell us the president control the gas prices. That ain't his job. We keep letting people tell us what we should be concerned about because we don't want to read and know the truth. We don't want to read. So whatever they tell us that's the easiest is what we like to go for because it requires less accountability. It requires less responsibility because I can blame it on some, man, I lost my house. Man, the white people are always looking to take my shit. No, when your ass stopped working because you didn't feel like it, that was you giving up your shit. That was you giving up your shit. We got to stop doing this and looking for other people to blame. That's part of the reason that we got together. It's because even if it ain't our fault, at the end of the day, it is our fault. It is our fault. Because I'm so tired of them saying the white man's scared of us. Tell me why anybody white would be scared of us.
Let me add something to the mix. In our community, cancer is a major killer. Diabetes. But for our women, cervical cancer and some other issues. The father of modern gynecology is a guy by the name of James Marion Sims. Sims performed all of his procedures on slaves who were anesthetized because they believed that Negro women could sustain the pain. White women didn't have it. If anybody wants to challenge me, please look it up. Do you know that this guy has statues of him? And every one of them statues should be torn down. Between the years 1845 to 1845 to 49, he performed all these procedures. Imagine the pain if you can. I can't. Don't think I want to. But yet, we allow DeSantis and his group to take out books that talk about these atrocities. We allow these people to be elected who refuse to bring the rest of this country out of the darkness of slavery into the light of reality. And I put that out there because I want people to understand the importance of knowledge and reading. Read critically and act accordingly. But it's so important because everything that we've talked about here tonight, if you think we're bad tonight, wait till you see us next year.
Hey, I just want to co-sign what Joe said, man. Listen, I didn't have a lot of support. I didn't have a lot of support mechanisms when I was growing up. I didn't grow up with my father. I didn't have no uncles. I didn't have no cousins, so I kind of had to figure it out. I figured it out. I figured my way out. And I just want to tell you that it wasn't until later that I started reading. But what I can appreciate is this. There's information in books that can help you figure things out. You don't have to believe me. Don't take my word for it. Go figure it. Go do it yourself. In fact, if there's something you don't know about or you don't understand, go read a document, read about it. And I guarantee you, you'll have a better insight on that one particular thing once you get done reading it. So just think about that. Think about the power in that. We talked tonight. We talked about politics. We talked about, how to make your way in society. We talked about a lot of different things. And I can tell you right now, I'm going to speak for me. I ain't going to speak for my gentleman friend here, but I'll speak for me. And I'll just tell you, a lot of that I learned just through experience, but a portion of that I also learned by reading and trying to understand, what I was experiencing. So again, man, don't trust me. I had to learn. In fact, we're gonna talk about stocks on this show, right? Not on this particular show, but we're gonna talk about stocks next year. This same team here, and I can tell you, I had to learn stocks the hard way. But if I didn't read to figure it out, because I didn't have no reference point, especially you got to read when you don't have a reference point. But I had to figure it out by reading, and so just don't underestimate it, man. It's really one of the primary things. Make it like exercise. It's one of the primary things you have to do in order to figure things out and understand things.
And Mo, let's be fair. Let's give Fair its credit. How many of us didn't learn from Fair? How many of us didn't learn from the pain and heartache? And it's crazy. None of us want it, but how many of us can say that it didn't make us better or more diligent what we were doing? It's a hell of a motivator. And we don't like to give it its praise, but without it, most of us wouldn't be, because we would have been content being somewhere else. But we let failure do what it did. It kicked our ass. Sometimes we took a long nap, but we got back up. Failure for most of us was probably the greatest single motivator that we won't give credit to. We'll say we want to do it because of this. But most people don't want to fail, which means they don't ever get anywhere because they stay at a point where they can't fail. But once you get to a point, and Mo say he learned from this, and I guarantee you we could all do an 8-hour show on the things that fucking hurt us to our core, but made us better. It made us pay more attention to this. It made us pay more attention to that. What does death do? Death makes you show more love to the people who are living because you know how final it is. But before death hits home, we all take certain things for granted. But when death show up, you can see people who they truly bond with, who they start reaching out to just a little bit more because it hurts. When you truly have to eat scraps, or you got to pick scraps because you can't eat like everybody else, you start doing a little bit better with money management. You don't throw money away like you used to because you know what it ain't like. And people will call you a miser, a penny pincher, whatever. But you know what you ain't going to do? You ain't going through that hunger phase again. You ain't going through that. I saw a guy who said, man, I wouldn't want a woman who wouldn't want to live in a car with me if I was homeless. And I seen women co-signing that dumb shit. Why in the hell would you want your woman to live in a car with you to prove her love? That's not love. But see, that's what we are because we want people to suffer with us. We've suffered for y'all, and we're willing to share some of the things that we've learned so you don't have to make the same mistakes. Don't get it twisted. Some of y'all going to still make the same mistakes because sometimes you got to touch that fire. I would say that both of these gentlemen, again, we ain't had this conversation, but I would say there's some things that people warned us about not doing, and we thought we might be just a little bit better than them. And it didn't give a shit about what we thought. We got burned too. But that's what you have to do sometimes. And it's part of the learning curve. Sometimes it's like, shit, Joe said, man, I'm still going to do this way, man. Joe, he didn't know who he was talking about. Then I got oh, shit. I ain't going to tell Joe he was right. I want to know I was stupid enough to try it after he told me not to. But I'm going to pass that knowledge on, and I ain't going to do it no more either. And that's okay. But you got to move forward from that. And like I say, if it wasn't for those things, man, we probably wouldn't be shit. Coming out the ghetto, that's a want because most of us didn't have shit. What made us want to come out the ghetto? Nobody offered us a pass out. Nobody gave us a thing to say, hey, come on up here to boardwalk. We had to want to be there. We had to want to do more than just go through the motions. And right, we get paid to teach others, but the payment, too many people want payment in the form of money as opposed to seeing other people do better. See, in my mind, if I help somebody get rich, that's somebody I can borrow money from. When I teach my group of people stuff, especially at work, every time I teach somebody a skill, you know what that means? And Joe know this. The more I teach them, the longer I can take a vacation, and ain't nobody gonna call me. But if I only want to be the point of knowledge, when I'm trying to relax, everybody gonna keep calling me. We want to teach our kids enough that they don't want to come back home. We want to teach our kids enough that they can spoil us with gifts now, because we ain't gonna ask for nothing. But this is what we're supposed to do. We should do the same thing for people of our race. We should do the same thing for people in our circle. We should make sure that they got enough information to succeed at the next level, because you help those that help you. I bet Joe and Mo both got people who they would have never considered friends who gave them a little piece of advice, unsolicited. They helped them. It's like, damn, I didn't even know me and old dude was cool. Now you got a friend for the crazy reasons.
Wait, DVP. I had complete strangers give me advice, man, that was better than any advice I was getting from family or friends. So you hit absolutely.
Because they want us to do better for whatever reason. And that's what we got to start doing, and stop being so selfish. When I got to look out for Joe's kids like Joe got to look out for mine. Yeah. I got to look out for Roy's kids like Roy got to look out for mine. This is something that we just got to start doing and rebuilding the whole community from a point of where we ignore the no snitching dumbass mentality to we are one. And once we get that back, again, I'm going to pick on Joe. When you go to other communities of color, they don't have nowhere near the shit going like blacks do. Because nobody's going to come into an Asian community. Nobody's going to go into a Korean community. Nobody's going to go into another community and do some shit that ain't one of them. It don't happen because they are protective of their own. And they just like everybody else, they're still more destructive to their own, but they don't let nobody else do it. Nobody.
Look, man, two things I want to say, not only on the money, but if you want to find out how true that statement is, I want you to look at any major city that has a Asian community. In Chicago, it's called Chinatown. Look at any community that has a suburb that has Arabs, or find enclaves of Italians. Find out how much crime is in each one of those areas, and it's going to amaze you because the numbers aren't there. Now, that's not to say they're not criminals. They just don't do it there. They don't do it to each other, not like we do. But that's another story in itself. But some of you said, Mo, and the DVP, the verbal, I got to say this, and I give you brothers a lot of credit. Forgive me for saying that, DVP, about credit to you. But the reality is that part of this journey that we're on, and I don't really give a shit what you call it, the spiritual growth is indeed that. Now, whether you be Muslim, Hindu, Catholic, whatever you want to call it, each one of those identities, I'll call them that, each had a part in spreading information. So where you go from Muhammad, where you go from Buddha, where you go to the disciples of Christ, each one did exactly what we're talking about. They went and gave information in order to grow. Am I wrong?
Facts. And hold on. Drum roll. And they all had books to support their ideologies. So guess what? If I can't stay with you for a while, what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna give you a book. Read this.
Religion destroyed the black man's image. No, it did not. No, what destroyed the image were people's interpretation. Because I remember there's one scripture that said he had hair of lamb's wool and feet of bronze.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
I don't know how everybody missed that portion.
Am I wrong?
Oh, shit.
You know, there's also a part that I don't know who you are. You went out black and you came back this color.
Oh, God.
I'm wrong.
Oh, man. That's crazy.
And I'm going to say this, even when you look at other communities, and this is one of the things I studied, even with white people, we're the only group who chastises us for living in bunches. But if you go to these other communities, until they are financially set, you don't see them being poor trying to have a place to themselves. They stay 3, 4, 12 deep until they make money. And then they can afford to do. We refuse to do group economics. That is one of our biggest downfalls. We refuse to do things when we talked before about getting 8 people together to buy a strip mall. Everybody worry about who gonna get what. But the nail shop ain't gonna make as much as the meat shop. Ain't gonna make as much as this because everybody worry about what somebody else is doing as opposed to understanding. If I only put in 10%, then I should only get a 10% return. Joe put in 80, he put in 40%. For me to think that we're gonna be equals because we don't understand equality and what's the other equity?
Equity.
We don't understand it. And that oh man, why he getting more than me? He put in more than you. Why did this person get something? They found everybody has a purpose. And once we understand that and we understand the true meaning of teamwork, which is something we see in other races, how they use teamwork. You ever watch Mexicans build a house? Everybody got their specific thing, and that's what they do. And they get that house done in 3 to 4 days because they got something else they got to do. But they're splitting the money while they're making it. So nobody is getting individually rich, but they're all saving something because they're saving time. As opposed to this one guy trying to build a house in 4 weeks, he gets 6 of his friends and they get it in 3 or 4 days. We don't understand that concept because we want to get rich quick. The microwave thing that Hiram was talking about earlier. Once we get this concept, you look at the 3 of us, the things we've talked about putting together for y'all for 2024, even with Roy. This is a process. There are things that Joe is clearly the leader on. There are some things that Mo is clearly the leader on. There's some things that I know. Everybody has a place. Nobody has to be the leader. Unfortunately, the title of this show just happened to be Random Thoughts. But when we start doing our other series, it ain't gonna have my name up there because it's not about me. This is this is just an introduction to bigger shit. And,
I came here for you. I came here for you and Mo.
No, you came here to harass me. You gotta check this bouncing.
You ain't never lied.
but this is the process, and this is why it's so important that, like Bobby, you said money matters, and money doesn't matter as long as you have a skill or something that can be traded. That's what matters, because we were doing things way before money, and that's what people don't understand. You can lose money. You don't lose a skill. You don't lose a skill. As long as you got a skill or something that's barterable, you can play the game. Because what's the one something you hear most rich people say? Never spend your own money. So they ain't using money. They've gotten something else. Warren Buffett, people like that, they get shit off name recognition.
Mm-hmm.
So money helps, but you need to have something that's tradable, something that's of value to somebody else. I got my chicken. Somebody wants some eggs, they can come get some eggs, they give me some cheese, whatever. As long as you got something that you can barter with, you're in the game. You're in the game. And that's what we got to understand. We got to have skills. Why we need the wood tech back, why we need the auto shops back, why we need to stop focusing on college if we don't plan to be professors. But that's part of a bigger picture. It's 741.
Well, hold on, DVP. Let me just say one thing, because you brought up a point that we really gotta bang home next year. And I just want to make a comment right now. And that was one thing you said was amazing. It's called, what you said was group economics. I'm gonna tell a quick story about how I saw that work, and then next year we'll hit it. But I was this when I was working. I was around 22 or something. I was working, and I was at a job with I think they were all Vietnamese. A lot of Vietnamese people working there, and I had my own place. I lived in a place. It was infested with roaches. It was kind of it was in a bad area and everything. And one of the Vietnamese guys, I became close with him. So we started talking, and he was like, I was like, where you guys live? He said, oh, we live right down the street. Now the job was in an area where it was suburban. It was really clean, really nice, and I'm like, hold on, how you gonna live down the street, man? This job here that we got here, we getting pennies on a dollar, man. It's we getting pennies on a dollar. He said, oh, I live with my brothers and sisters. I said, what do you mean you live with your brothers and sisters? Oh yeah, there's 8 of us. We all live in the same place. It's a nice place. We all chip in to pay for rent. And so what DVP was saying about group economics, that's the first time I became aware of that. And I'll tell you, I'm gonna just be straight up and tell you, for the life of me, all through my life, I have been unable to get, whether it's relatives, people in my family, friends, whatever, to learn and grasp that concept and make it work for them. Have been unable to do it. And maybe that's my failure. I don't know. But I'm just going to say that I know that will help everything. It's funny how we can all get together and chip in goddamn money to play the lottery. But when it comes to something else, maybe buying a house, real estate, whatever it is, investing in a company, we can't seem to do it. I'm going to leave it at that.
Again, and that's why we have to have forums. One of the best things I learned to do once I accepted the challenges is to go somewhere where you don't know nothing and listen and learn. Because then you're not as jaded when you think you know stuff. We joke about me doing this job now as a coroner, but this was something I've been on the other side. I've been to crime scenes. What coroners do versus what cops do is totally different. I didn't even know this. I didn't know how much juice coroners had, but I'm learning something because I don't want to always be the guy leading the conversation. I want to be taught some things. When I talk to Joe, when I talk to Mo, and they say shit I don't want to hear sometimes, but they're teaching me things. And the hardest thing for us to accept is a difference of opinion, especially when we thought our opinion was based on fact. When people hit you with that shit, that's when that cognitive dissonance comes in. And what's the other one? Well, now you at a conflict because something that you held true, and it sucks. But as Joe, when he threw that glove out there, most of us loved our parents, our grandparents. Most of our grandparents told us about they helped perpetuate the myth of this blonde-haired, blue-eyed guy that ain't nowhere in this book. They told us they read. We don't want to call our parents and grandparents liars, but most of them told us they read their book front to back. So then why do we have this blue-eyed, blonde-haired guy sitting on the mountain with this fork and spoon? Who the hell is he? But for us to accept that it's as written, that it was a dude with dark skin, means we got to challenge our parents and grandparents. That ain't an easy concept to accept, because as violent as we are and as we love to keep it 100, I hate that phrase. Who wouldn't go back and call your mama or your grandmama a liar? You ain't gonna do it. So you got to sit there with that conflict. You got to sit there with it. And that's one of the things that we have to start learning to accept, that sometimes you can change a way without being in conflict with yourself or who you got the bad information from. Because it wasn't, and I'm going to stay true to this. It ain't the white people who've been giving us the misinformation. It was people who looked just like us that gave us the most misinformation, and we bought into it because of who they were. We can't be them same people. We are striving hard not to be them same people. Joe say a lot of shit that y'all don't want to hear. Mo will say some shit y'all don't want to hear. EVP will say some shit y'all, but we can't keep blaming everybody else. Because once I tell you the truth and you know it, you get to make decisions. And the decision to run back into your turtle thing ain't the right answer no more. It ain't. But who you really mad at? Are you mad at the white people that told you lies, or are you mad that you can't call your mama and your grandmama a liar to their face? Because they told you about that blue-eyed, blonde-haired dude. I'm willing to bet that 90% of us got that. So what you got for me, Joe? Because we get ready. We get ready to go sign out. I told Roy I wasn't gonna be here that long, and here y'all got me going into trouble. Y'all done had Roy throw up the disclaimer because y'all get me in trouble. He over there fanning, sweating. We finna get He was scared to let me get a commercial break and get some water in my system.
Man, listen, I'm good. Let's go. We know what we got to do for next year, so I'm all good.
So. Mo, and I typed there, Mo, what's the finance group?
Oh, Black Money Finance.
Black Money Finance. Ladies and gentlemen, join me. Like I said, the goal is to start you from that paycheck and get you up to the point where you investing. Because Mo wants to do some group investing, but I got to get y'all comfortable with investing and trusting the system. It ain't about trusting the person, it's about trusting the system. Do your own research. We can come back to the table and we can make some group investments. But until then, like I said, you got to learn how to save money. It's hard to tell somebody who ain't ever saved money to all of a sudden come up with some money to do something when you think you're struggling to pay rent, get gas, chase girls, whatever it is your vice is. But, we're going to get there. Joe, I'm going to apologize for Joe now because Joe going to have y'all rethinking y'all whole world. He gonna give you some factual data, and you just got to do what you want to with it. And I'm gonna say this up front: this journey ain't gonna be for everybody, and I know I'm gonna lose some people, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Change ain't easy, but I was with my mom today, and it was so funny because she was using her smartphone and she hated. And you know what she had the nerve to complain about? She said, "Man, look how long it's taking these articles to load up." And I'm like, "Mom, when did you start reading on your phone?" She like, "What's got all the news on there?" Mama, you didn't even want a smartphone. You just wanted a phone for phone calls. That's what you told me. She like, "Oh, man," she said, "You know what? I'm so glad you showed me how to do that auto pay." This was the woman who up until 6-7 months ago was still buying books because she was mailing checks to her bills.
Yeah.
So she's made the change and act like she don't remember none of that. But I remember I used to have to buy her stamps.
Yeah.
But she's like, "No, you showed me that auto pay." And when I first showed it, I said, "Mom, you can pay them like this online, or you can set up for auto pay." And she like, oh no, I'm not doing that. I want to go to a bank. I want to pay my bills the old-fashioned way. I said, Mom, we going to the bank. She said, what we got to go to the bank for? I said, don't you want to pay your bills? She's like, oh no, I just paid them online. I set them up on AutoPay. I'm like, what? You did what? I'm like, who in the hell is this I'm talking to? Who is this? But you know, we got to accept that. So it look like I'm froze again. Do y'all see me moving, fellas?
Nope.
No, you got your arm up. You look like the black what's that, Statue of Liberty, man.
Every week is something. So I gotta think. Right. You gotta tell me with this. Where every week I either freeze or I disappear. Because I see them moving, but I look like I'm catching the Holy Ghost. That's some scary shit.
It is.
I didn't need no cosigner right then. I promise you I did. I promise you I did. See, this is the reason why we can't get along. Anyway, we're gonna get ready to close out. Mo, give us some parting words. Let Mo stand in the corner and think of something.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Look at 2024 is a no excuse year. We don't want. Look at you got your brain trust right here. I'm not saying we all super intelligent, but we got one thing that a lot of people don't have, and that's the intelligence from living life. You know, all of us over 50. I ain't gonna tell you our exact age. All of us over 50. So we've been on this earth 50 years. We got the knowledge relative to that. We got information relative to that. We've been through good and bad times. We've seen a lot. So look, next year, come soak this knowledge up. Come soak this information up. Be part of the group, man. Be with us. This is you know, one of our primary goals is to just positively impact people, positively make a change. You know what I mean? We don't need our name. We don't need statues. We don't need our name on a banner or nothing like that. We're just doing this because this is something we believe in doing. You know, these are some good brothers here that I met. We just met in passing, and we all had similar ideas and ideologies, and we wanted to make those work. So next year is a no excuse. 2024 is a no excuse year. I'm sticking to that.
As much as I hate to do this, Joe, go ahead and give me something.
Listen, man, I've given you enough for tonight. I agree with Big Mo, and I actually agree with DVP DeVerbo tonight. So that's all I got for now.
Give it enough.
Hey, listen. This is the last show for the year. Next year we coming back. Like I said, we're gonna bring some shows. So accountability, responsibility, uncomfortable conversations. We run the table. And like I said, we're gonna still have fun because you shouldn't have to be serious all the time. You can't enjoy life if you're not having fun. Even when it comes to making money, it's gotta be fun. It's gotta be fun. Bobby, you gonna quit running from me and come on the show. That way we can cut down on some of your super long ass texts. You can just come and talk with us. See, don't make us do it. Don't make us call what's that show? We'll call Catfish, let them find you, then we'll just come to your house and do a show. Shit. We gangster like that. That's how we gonna do it in 2024, Bobby. So you can come to the show like a champ and stand your ground, or you can just see three black dudes knocking on your door, raising hell. And we're gonna be listening to some Kenny Chesney. So everybody like, what kind of black people is them? I ain't know what the hell Kenny Chesney saying. We're gonna do some Kenny Chesney shit at your front door. That's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do. All right. Y'all can't see me, but y'all know what it is. Until next week, y'all know this. Peace, popcorn, and chicken grease, and we out.